दिया, लेकिन दोनों के जो व्यूज थे वो गलत थे। पटेल was undoubtedly the main leader of the Congress right wing, but his rightist stance has often been grossly misrepresented. जो पटेल थे वो कांग्रेस राइट विंग के मेन लीडर थे, लेकिन उनके राइटिस्ट स्टैंस को गलत तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट किया गया। नेहरू की तरह वो शेयर करते थे बेसिक वैल्यूज ऑफ द नेशनल मूवमेंट, कमिटमेंट टू डेमोक्रेसी, सिविल लिबर्टीज, सेकुलरिज्म, इंडिपेंडेंट इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, social reform and pro-poor orientation. Before 1947, he had opposed the socialist and the communist. After 1947, he argued successfully both for stimulus to private enterprise and the incorporation of the right of property as a fundamental right in the constitution. तो उन्होंने प्राइवेट एंटरप्राइज को प्रमोटेड और राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में फंडामेंटल राइट के रूप में शामिल करने के लिए सक्सेसफुली जो आर्ग्यूमेंट दिया। द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन नेहरू एंड पटेल वाज हाईली कॉम्प्लेक्स। जो नेहरू एंड पटेल के बीच में जो रिलेशनशिप थी वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स थी। हिस्टोरियंस एंड पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट हैव जनरली टेंडेड टू एम्फसाइज द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन द टू and overlooked the commonness. Certainly their differences and disputes were real. Patel and Nehru had temperamental as well as ideological differences. पटेल और नेहरू के बीच में आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंसेस थी। आफ्टर 1947 पॉलिसी डिफरेंसेस ऑन सेवरल क्वेश्चंस क्रॉप्ड अप बिटवीन देम। 1947 के बाद उनके बीच सेवरल क्वेश्चंस पर डिफरेंसेस राइज हो गए। द इलेक्शन ऑफ पुरुषोत्तम दास टंडन एज कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट इन 1950 created a wide bridge between them. Several times their differences on questions of policy led to near breaches. A certain tension was always present between the two. उन दोनों के बीच में हमेशा टेंशन बनी रहती थी। The two continued to stick and pull together, and there was no final parting on the ways. This was because what united them was the abiding value than what divided them. They also complemented each other in many ways. वो दोनों एक दूसरे को कॉम्प्लीमेंट भी करते थे। एक जो था ग्रेट ऑर्गेनाइजर और एबल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, और दूसरा तो जो था वो मास सपोर्ट को कमांड करता था और उसके वाइड सोशल और डेवलपमेंटल पर्सपेक्टिव है। ऑल्सो देयर वॉज कंसिडरेबल म्यूचुअल अफेक्शन एंड म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट फॉर ईच अदर। दोनों के बीच म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट भी था। पटेल रिमेन नेहरूज लॉयल कलीग, एश्योरिंग हिम ऑफ कंप्लीट सपोर्ट ऑफ हिज पॉलिसीज। After Gandhiji's death, Patel repeatedly described Nehru as his leader, and Nehru reciprocated. The Sardar has been a tower of strength, but for his affection and advice, I would not have been able to run the state. गांधी की डेथ के बाद जो पटेल थे वो नेहरू को अपने लीडर के तौर पर बताने लग गए थे, और जो नेहरू थे वो कहते थे कि सरदार के एडवाइस के बिना वो जो है स्टेट को चला नहीं सकते थे। अब है इंट्रा कांग्रेस rivalry. In the early years, there were signs that Congress was gradually beginning to lose touch with its people and its standards beginning to decline. A certain tendency toward deterioration is perhaps inevitable in a ruling party, but the deterioration and decline should remain within reasonable bounds. The erosion of the party values and standards was worrisome. There was a yes, sir.
Karthik, only the main point. You have highlighted the main point very good. Suppose that intra-Congress rivalry. So here the 2 points are important, and the point is loss of idealism and neglect of ideology. So इन पे एक ये चार्ज लगा था, और non-democratic functioning. So these the two charges are very important. ये दो चार्ज थे कि जो कांग्रेस के अंदर जो इंट्रा कांग्रेस राइवलरी थी, वो उसमें लोगों ने दो चार्ज लगाए कि पार्टी है जो पार्टी वैल्यू और स्टैंडर्ड खो रही है, और दूसरा है कि नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक फंक्शन। दैट मीन्स अगर हम प्रेसिडेंट चुनने में या इन सब में हम डेमोक्रेसी को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे। और एज ए पॉलिटिकल साइंस स्टूडेंट यू डू नो वेरी वेल that every political party has their own constitution and they abide by that constitution. हर एक आपको पता है कि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज होती है उसका अपना भी एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता है। सो जो इंट्रा कांग्रेस राइवलरी थी वो ये सारी बातों को थी। तो हम ऐसे करेंगे, पूरे डिटेल्स आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू रीड इट आउट कार्तिक, तो आप मेन बात बताते चलिए, और बाकी तो रिकॉर्डिंग में आ जाएगा सारा, तो बच्चे उसको पढ़ना चाहेंगे तो पढ़ लेंगे, ठीक है ना?
ओके सर।
हाँ, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड।
Factional, yes. Congress was failing to train a new generation of leaders to replace those thrown up by the national movement. The deterioration of a political party, the deterioration mainly affect Congress and affect all political parties, but it affected the Congress to a much greater extent. Nehru was aware of this state of affairs in the country and in the Congress. In a mood of disillusionment, despair, and despondency, he wrote in 1948, "It is terrible to think that we may be losing all our values and sinking into the sordidness of opportunity politics. The important work of building the party and toning it up were neglected during the years of Nehru's total dominance of the party and the government." जो पार्टी का जो इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क था बिल्डिंग का, वो नेहरू के टाइम में नेग्लेक्ट किया गया ज़्यादातर। बीइंग वेरी मच एन आइडियोलॉग, ही मेड सेवरल मेजर अटेम्प्ट्स टू कीप द पार्टी एंकर आइडियोलॉजिकली एंड पॉलिटिकली। पर जो नेहरू थे वो उन्होंने काफ़ी अटेम्प्ट्स किए कि वो पॉलिटिकली और आइडियोलॉजिकली कांग्रेस को जो है स्ट्रॉन्ग रखें। द डिपार्चर ऑफ द सोशलिस्ट हैड वीकन द रेडिकल फोर्सेज इन कांग्रेस एंड द स्पेस वैकेटेड देम वाज बीइंग इंक्रीजिंगली फिल्ड बाय वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट, लैंडलॉर्ड्स, रिच पीजेंट्स एंड इवन प्रिंसेस। जो जब सोशलिस्ट डिपार्चर हो गए तो उनकी जगह लैंडलॉर्ड्स, रिच पीजेंट्स एंड प्रिंसेस ने ले ली कांग्रेस में। नेहरू को रियलाइज हो गया जो कांग्रेस है वो आइडियोलॉजिकली वीकेंड हो रही है एब्सेंस सोशलिस्ट के एब्सेंस में। नाउ नेहरू's efforts to bring socialism into Congress. Nehru tried several times to bring the socialist into the Congress. His first attempt to bring the socialist back into Congress was in 1948, but the socialists were still quite angry and critical of Nehru. Another effort by Nehru in 1951 to improve relations with the socialists once again met with a rebuff. Believing that Nehru was shielding and supporting reactionary forces, Jayaprakash Narayan once again publicly denounced Nehru's naked open fascism. After winning the general elections in 1952, Nehru made his most serious effort to work together with the socialists, hoping to build a broad political front to promote economic development and strengthen the trend within the Congress. In 1957, he asked the socialists to cooperate with the Congress. In response, Jayaprakash wanted the Congress to adopt a radical program framed by him. Nehru was in agreement with many of Jayaprakash 14 point. उन्होंने जो जयप्रकाश के 14 पॉइंट्स थे ज़्यादातर जो एग्रीमेंट में वो अडॉप्ट कर लिए थे, लेकिन वो प्रायर कमिटमेंट में आने से उन्होंने रिफ्यूज कर दिया था। नेहरू वॉज प्रिपेयर टू स्ट्रेंथन दी radical forces inside the Congress and not split the party in order to accommodate the socialists. He was convinced that the Congress and the government had to go step by step towards radical transformation. उनका ये मानना था कि कांग्रेस और गवर्नमेंट स्टेप बाय स्टेप चलेंगे रेडिकल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की तरफ। The dominant section of the socialists continued to be convinced that Nehru and Congress were committed to conservative policies, increasingly contemptuous of the socialists. With every passing year, the relations between the Congress and Nehru and the socialists went on becoming more bitter. और ईयर बाय ईयर पास होता गया और कांग्रेस और नेहरू के बीच का जो रिलेशन था वो बिटर होता गया, मतलब खराब होता गया। इन अक्टूबर 1956, Nehru wrote in a personal letter that Jayaprakash Narayan was saying and writing things which have little to do with socialism and which have much to do with nonsense. With his failure in
Next slide.
seeking the help of So Nehru's health began declining steadily after 1962, and he spent months recuperating in Kashmir, and attribute the domestic decline to his surprise and charging over the Sino-Indian War, which he perceived as a betrayal of trust. Nehru just left India with no clear political heir to his leadership. Later, Lal Bahadur Shastri succeeded him as the Prime Minister. Shastri became a national hero following victory in the Indo-Pakistani War of 1990. His slogan "Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan" became very popular during the war. But on 11 January 1960, a day after signing the Tashkent Declaration, Shastri died in Tashkent, reportedly of a heart attack, but the circumstances of his death remain mysterious. अब इंदिरा इरा शुरू होता है 1966 to 1984 से। आफ्टर शास्त्री डेथ, कांग्रेस इलेक्टेड इंदिरा गांधी एज लीडर ओवर मोरारजी देसाई। शास्त्री की डेथ के बाद कांग्रेस ने इंदिरा गांधी को इलेक्ट कर लिया, मोरारजी देसाई को हटा के। इन 1967, following a poor performance in the general election, Indira Gandhi started moving towards the political left. In mid-1969, she was involved in a dispute with senior party leaders on a number of issues. The two major issues were she supported the independent candidate V.V. Curry rather than the Congress party candidate Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy, and second, Mrs. Gandhi abrupt nationalization of the 14 biggest banks in India. Later in the year, the Congress party president as Nijlingappa expelled her from the party for indiscipline. Mrs. Gandhi, as a countermove, launched her own faction of the INC. Mrs. Gandhi faction, called Congress R, was supported by most of the Congress MPs. Congress R stood for requisition or ruling. It soon came to be known as the New Congress. In the All India Congress Committee, 446 of its 705 members walked over to Indira's side. This created a belief among Indians that Indira's Congress was the real Congress INCR. After the separation of the two parties, there was also a dispute about the party logo. The old Congress retained the party symbol of a pair of bullocks carrying a yoke, while Indira's breakaway faction was given a new symbol of a cow with a suckling calf by the Election Commission as the party election symbol. The split occurred when in 1969 a united opposition under the banner of Samyukt Vidhayak Dal won control over several states in the हिंदी बेल्ट। तो इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस का जो आर का लोगो था वो सिंबल ऑफ ए कॉव विद ए सकलिंग कॉफ था, और जो इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस आई का था वो बुलॉक्स कैरिंग अ यॉक था। In the mid-term parliamentary elections held in 1971, the Gandhi-led Congress R party won a landslide victory on a platform of progressive policies such as the elimination of poverty, Garibi Hatao. The policies of the Congress R party under Gandhi before the 1971 elections included proposals to abolish the privy purse to former rulers of the princely states. The Congress Party popular support began to wane in the mid-1970s. From 1975, her government grew increasingly more authoritarian and unrest among the opposition grew. On 12 June 1975, the High Court of Allahabad declared Indira Gandhi's election to the Lok Sabha was on the ground of electoral malpractice.
सर
However,
स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रही।
हाँ हाँ ये कार्तिक है, स्क्रीन नहीं शेयर हो रहा है। और वैसे भी ये सारी बातें हमने एक बार डिस्कस की हुई है।
yes.
तो थोड़ा सा इसको आगे बढ़ लीजिए, हमने एक बार डिस्कस किया था, और स्क्रीन भी शेयर कर लीजिए।
सर आप क्लियर है?
हाँ हाँ
सर
हाँ यस हाँ हाँ
Now Rajiv Gandhi and Rao era 1984 to 1998. In 1994, Indira Gandhi's son Rajiv Gandhi became head of Congress and went on to become Prime Minister upon her assassination. In December, he led Congress to a landslide victory where it secured 401 seats in the legislature. His administration took measures to reform the government bureaucracy and liberalize the country's economy. After his government became embroiled in several financial scandals, his leadership became increasingly
अच्छा, तो
ineffectual.
एडमिशन अभी तो ये तो है, एडमिशन मंडे से ना, नहीं संडे को है।
He was regarded as a
हाँ
non-abrasive person who consulted other
तो
party
हम ये
members
करेंगे
and
कि
refrained from
हर
rash
एक का अलग
decisions.
अलग बनाना पड़ेगा ना, मतलब हर एक
The
कॉम्बिनेशन
Bofors
का।
scandal damaged his
और उसमें
reputation
एसी
as an honest politician, but he was posthumously cleared of bribery allegations in 2004. On 21 May 1991, he was killed by a bomb concealed in a basket of flowers carried by a woman associated with the Tamil Tigers. An Indian court convicted 26 people in the conspiracy to assassinate Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi was succeeded as party leader by P.V. Narasimha Rao, who was elected Prime Minister in June 1991. His rise to the Prime Ministership was politically significant because he was the first holder of the office from South India. He is often called the father of Indian economic reforms. He accelerated the dismantling of the licence laws, reversing the socialist policies of the previous government. He employed Manmohan Singh as his finance minister to bring a historic economic change. With Rao's mandate, Singh launched India's globalization reform that involved implementing International Monetary Fund policies to prevent India's impending economic collapse. By 1996, the party's image was suffering from allegations of corruption, and in elections that year, Congress was reduced to 140 seats, its lowest number in the Lok Sabha to that point. He later resigned as Prime Minister and in September as party president, and was succeeded as president by Sitaram Kesri, the party's first non-Brahmin leader. Now, INC 1998 to present. The 1998 general elections saw Congress win 141 seats in the Lok Sabha, its lowest tally until then. To boost its popularity and improve its performance in the forthcoming election, Congress leader asked Sonia Gandhi to assume leadership of the party. She had previously declined offers to become actively involved in party affairs. After her election as party leader, one section of the party objected to this choice because of her Italian ethnicity profile. Sonia Gandhi struggled to revive the party in her early years as president. She was under continuous scrutiny for her foreign birth and lack of political acumen. In the snap elections called by the National Democratic Alliance government in 1999, Congress tally further plummeted to just 114 seats. Although the leadership structure was unaltered as the party campaigned strongly in the assembly election that followed, Gandhi began to make such strategic changes as abandoning the party's 1998 Panchmari resolution of Ekla Cholo or Go It Alone policy. For the 2004 general election, Congress forged alliances with regional parties, including the NCP and the Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam. The party's campaign emphasized social inclusion and the welfare of the common masses, an ideology that Gandhi during her presidency with slogans such as Congress ke haath, Aam Aadmi ke saath, contrasting with the NDA's India Shining campaign. The Congress won 2 seats in the new parliament, defeating the NDA by a substantial margin. Congress won a majority of the new government. Despite massive support from within the party, Gandhi declined the post of choosing to appoint Manmohan Singh instead. She remained as party president and headed the National Advisory Council. During this office, the UPA government passed several social reform bills. These included the Employment Guarantee Bill, the Right to Information Act, and Right to Education Act. The left front withdrew support of the government over disagreement about the US-India Civil Nuclear Agreement. Despite the effective loss of 62 seats in parliament, the government survived the trust vote that followed. After the Lok Sabha election, Congress won 207 seats, the highest tally of any party since 1991. By the 2014 Lok Sabha election, the party had lost much of its popular support, mainly because of several years of poor performance in the country and growing discontent over a series of corruption allegations, including the 2G spectrum case and Indian coal allocation scam. Congress won only 44 seats in the Lok Sabha compared to the 336 seats of the BJP and its allies. The UPA suffered heavy defeat, which was its worst ever performance in a national election, with its vote share of about 20% for the first time. Narendra Modi succeeded Singh as Prime Minister as the head of the National Democratic Alliance. Rahul Gandhi resigned from his post after the 2019 Indian general election due to the party's dismal performance. The INC had managed to win only 52 seats, hence failing to provide an official leader of the opposition for a second consecutive term. Now Congress general election result. कांग्रेस लोकसभा वोट परसेंटेज ऑल टाइम, ये कांग्रेस का जो वोट परसेंटेज है लोकसभा का ऑल टाइम का, इसमें सबसे हाईएस्ट है 1984 में 4.9% और जो सबसे कम है 19.3% वोट इन लोकसभा 2014 में। और ये कांग्रेस लोकसभा वोट परसेंटेज ऑल टाइम, इसमें कांग्रेस राज्यसभा सीट्स ऑल टाइम, इसमें सबसे हाईएस्ट 1956 186।
कार्तिकेय फिर
yes.
डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया आपका वो ये पीपीटी, आप अच्छा जा रहे हैं, बस डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया थोड़ा।
नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है सर शायद। सर ऐसे ही कर लूं या फुल स्क्रीन?
हाँ ठीक है, ऐसे ही कीजिए, कोई इशू नहीं है, आपको जहाँ कंफर्टेबल है।
यस, तो कांग्रेस का राज्यसभा सीट्स ऑल टाइम का है, इसमें 1968 में 99 था और 186 सबसे हाईएस्ट 1956 ईयर में, और सबसे कम 2020 में 37 सीट्स।
वेरी गुड।
अब economic policies of Congress. The history of the economic policy of Congress-led governments can be divided into two periods, from independence in 1947 to 1991, and put great emphasis on the public sector. Second began with economic liberalization in 1991. At present, the Congress endorses a mixed economy in which the private sector and the state both direct the economy, which has characteristics of both market and planned economies. In 1991, the new Congress government led by P.V. Narasimha Rao initiated reforms to avert the impending 1991 economic crisis. In 2004, Manmohan Singh became Prime Minister of the Congress-led UPA government. He remained Prime Minister after the UPA won the 2009 general election, the UPA government introduced policies aimed at reforming the banking and financial sectors as well as public sector companies. Pranab Mukherjee expanded funding for several social sector schemes, including the Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission. He also supported budget increases for improving literacy and healthcare.
Yes, yeah, this is important, and very wisely say that planned economy, what you called mixed economy or planned economy, and the second part is liberal, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So everybody knows about this, and it's good. And Pranab Mukherjee was instrumental here. We are discussing Congress, then how we are not discussing Pranab Mukherjee. So when we are going to discuss about the Congress and what Congress did in 2009, जो कांग्रेस ने 2009 में किया, प्रणब मुखर्जी was the suitable candidate for the PM post, but he could not made it. And what happened? 2014, the decimation of the Congress. So that was the major fault in the Congress, internal rivalry in Congress, whether Pranab Mukherjee was left out as a prime minister, and Manmohan Singh was became prime minister of India in 2004. That was okay, but 2009, that was difficult when because you go and study literature, there were so many important leaders that time in Congress. Because because we have to critical also, why Manmohan Singh and why not Mr. Reddy, why not Pranab Mukherjee, why not Sarad Pawar already left the political party. So that was very crucial time. In 2004, speculation was that Mrs. Sonia Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India, but somehow she refused. And so-called, according to some reports, so-called a puppet prime minister, though he was very articulated and very academic, became the prime minister of India. But he never won election as a Lok Sabha candidate. Every time he opted as a Rajya Sabha member. So that was in democracy. That was not well in Congress. And the second Congress, that means 2009 to 2014, that so many scams were there. ढेर सारे स्कैम हुए, कोल स्कैम हुआ, फिर उसके बाद 2G 3G स्कैम हुआ, 2G स्कैम हुआ, और तो वो कांग्रेस के लिए डिबेकल हुआ। तो जब हम कांग्रेस को पढ़ते हैं तो उसके ड्रॉबैक्स को भी पढ़ना चाहिए। सो एंड प्रणब मुखर्जी वाज ए पॉपुलर लीडर दैट टाइम इन द कांग्रेस, सो दैट वाज नॉट गुड। और जैसे आज भी देखिए कि जिन लोगों को पोस्ट नहीं मिलना चाहिए, उन लोगों को पोस्ट मिला। तो आज से 10 साल बाद जब आप जैसे स्टूडेंट के साथ इंटरेक्शन होगा तो बोला जाएगा कि HRD मिनिस्टर किसको मिलना चाहिए था, होम मिनिस्टर किसको मिलना चाहिए था। तो ये अभी डिस्कशन नहीं होता है। हिस्ट्री में हम इसको डिस्कशन करते हैं, इम्पैक्ट के बाद डिस्कशन करते हैं, बिकॉज व्हेन दे आर इन द पावर दे आर वेरी पावरफुल, बिकॉज हम ही उनको पावर देते हैं और वो पावर का यूज हम ही पे करते हैं। तो ठीक है, इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी, दैट्स गुड, गो अहेड।
Now, national defense and home affairs. Since independence, India was in pursuit of nuclear capabilities, as Nehru felt that nuclear energy could take the country forward and help achieve its developmental goals. Consequently, Nehru began to seek assistance from the United Kingdom, Canada, and the USA. In 1958, the government of India, with the help of Homi J. Bhabha, adopted three-phase power production plan, and the Nuclear Research Institute was established in 1954. Indira Gandhi witnessed continuous nuclear testing by China from 1964 onwards, which she considered an existential threat to India. India conducted its first nuclear test in the Pokhran Desert in Rajasthan on 18 May 1974 under the name Operation Smiling Buddha. Also, Manmohan Singh's administration initiated a massive reconstruction effort in Kashmir to stabilize the region and strengthen anti-terrorism laws with amendment to the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act (UAPA). Education and healthcare. The Congress government under Nehru oversaw the establishment of many institutions of higher learning, including the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the Indian Institute of Technology, the Indian Institute of Management, and the National Institute of Technology. The National Council of Educational Research and Training (NCRT) was established in 1961 as a literary, scientific, and charitable society under the Societies Registration Act. In 2005, the Congress-led government started the National Rural Health Mission, which employed about 5 lakh community health workers. It was praised by economist Jeffrey Sachs. In 2006, it implemented a proposal to reserve 27% of seats in All India Institute of Medical Studies (AIIMS), IITs, and IIMs, and other central higher education institutions for OBCs, which led to the 2006 Indian anti-reservation protest. Now, present status of Congress in states and union territories. From the first general election in 1952, when Jawaharlal Nehru led it to a landslide victory, it won 364 of the 401 seats. The Congress won in the majority of the following state elections and paved the way for a Nehruvian era of single-party dominance. The party during the post-independence era has governed most of the states and union territories of India. Now, as of May 2021, the INC is in power in the states of Chhattisgarh, Punjab, and Rajasthan, where the party has the majority. In Maharashtra, it shares power as a junior ally with alliance partners Nationalist Congress Party, Shiv Sena, and other smaller regional parties under the multi-party Mahavikas Aghadi coalition. In Jharkhand, it shares power as a junior ally with Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. In Tamil Nadu, it shares power as a junior ally with the DMK, CPI, CPIM, BCK under the coalition Secular Progressive Alliance or SPA.
Very good.
Now, other political formations. After independence, several political parties emerged immediately. Congress found itself without a unifying purpose, with R. Prasad as president of the country and P. Tandon as president of the Congress. There was growing Hindu tint of the party, which led to the departure of some of its most effervescent leaders. In 1948, Socialist Party was formed with J.P. Narayan, Jayaprakash Narayan. It had also several other brilliant leaders, Acharya Narendra Dev, Achyut Patwardhan, Ashok Mehta, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, and S.M. Joshi. The first problem the socialists faced was that of their relationship with Congress. The Socialist Party had been born in 1934 and had remained since then a part of Congress, though it had its own separate constitution, membership, discipline, and ideology. This party had boycotted the negotiations with the cabinet mission and refused to participate in the Constituent Assembly. It had rejected the Mountbatten Plan for the independence and partition of the country. Most socialists wanted Congress to make a definite programmatic and ideological commitment to socialism. The socialists were not willing to dissolve their own party. They decided to leave Congress in March 1948 and declared that their objective was to establish a democratic socialist society. But this was not so. Social and political foundations of a socialist India still needed to be laid. And Congress was still the main organization that could fulfill this task. Hariharnath Shastri, a member of the National Executive of the Socialist Party, said the unfinished task of national revolution demands the full-fledged allegiance of all sections of people. Neither the socialists nor the communists were capable of replacing Congress. Acharya Narendra Dev also opposed to the decision of leaving Congress, but he decided to abide by it. The socialist departure from Congress seriously weakened the left inside Congress. The socialist optimism regarding the popularity of their party was to be soon belied. The general elections of 1951 to 52 proved to be a near disaster for the party. In Lok Sabha, all its national leaders were defeated and it won only 12 seats. Though receiving 10.6% seat of the popular vote in the states, it won 124 out of the 2,248 seats with nearly 58% of its candidates losing their deposits. Congress passed the first litmus test of democracy by winning a landslide victory. The party won 364 of 489 seats in the parliament. और 1951 to 1952 जनरल इलेक्शन रिजल्ट्स हैं, इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा इंडियन नेशनल कांग्रेस मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टेट्स में विन हुई थी. In June 1951, Congress dissidents led by J.V. Kripalani had formed in June 1951 the Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party. Party claimed to be Gandhian and promised to implement that program. Two of its leaders, P.C. Ghosh and T. Prakasam, had been Congress chief ministers in their respective states, that is West Bengal and Madras. The KMPP too entered the general election with high hopes and was even more disappointed with the result than the Socialist Party. It won 9 seats in Lok Sabha and 77 seats in State Legislative Assembly, polled 5.8% of the votes. both the Socialist Party and the Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party having grossly miscalculated their electoral strength. The leaders of the two parties felt that there were no ideological differences between them. As Kripalani said, we both want a class-led and casteless society free from social, political, and economic exploitation. The two parties merged in September 1952 to form Praja Socialist Party with Kripalani as the chairman and Ashok Mehta as the general secretary. It became the largest among the opposition parties. Its two constituents had received 17.4% of the popular vote in the 1952 elections, but the party could not maintain its cohesion for long. It suffered from widespread indiscipline among its leaders and cadres. In June 1953, at the party's Betal conference, Ashok Mehta offered his thesis, but party conference rejected his thesis in favor of Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia's approach. From the beginning, PSP suffered from ineffective and unstable leadership. Lohia and his group left PSP at the end of 1955. Acharya Narendra Dev died in 1956. Jayaprakash Narayan withdrew from active politics in 1954 and announced that he would dedicate his life to Bhutan. In 1960, Kripalani left the party to play an independent role in politics. All this was reflected in the steady decline of PSP in the general elections. पार्टी won seats in Lok Sabha 1957 में 19 seats and in 1962 में 12 seats, 1967 में 13 seats and in 1971 2 seats. A reason for the failure of the socialists was their inability to distinguish themselves from Congress, especially after the Awadi resolution committing itself to a socialistic pattern of society. After leaving PSP, Doctor Lohia formed the Congress Socialist Party at the end of 1955. The hallmark of the new party was political militancy. Later in 1967, Lohia and his followers were also seek cooperation with the Swatantra Party and Jansangh on the one hand and the Communist on the other to defeat Congress. The Socialist Party was also not free from dissidents, defections and splits, especially after the death of Dr. Lohia in 1967. Now the Communist Party of India was a part of Congress since
कार्तिकेय
19...
शो नहीं हो रहा है फिर
सर कब से
अभी बस जस्ट Communist Party, when will start Communist Party? And well said about the Socialist Party. Actually आपस में उनका प्रॉब्लम था, उनके लीडर्स को लेके काफी प्रॉब्लम था.
The Communist Party of India was a part of Congress since 1936 but unwilling to accept the Congress decision. It left the party in 1945. From 1942 to 1945, it had a remarkable growth. In 1947, CPI started out with certain advantages. It had several able leaders and thousands of devoted, disciplined, who were active among the peasants, workers, and students. CPI was plagued by intense factionalism in the post-1947 years and was engulfed by internal crises every few years till it formally split in 1964. Actions were formed around political and ideological difference. It declared in December 1947 under Soviet guidance that India's independence was fake. The Communists had to take up the anti-imperialist and anti-feudal task fight of freedom and democracy. At its second conference, held in Calcutta in Feb 1948, the party chose B.T. Ranadev in place of P.C. Joshi as its general secretary. CPI organized several adventurous actions, two proving to be particularly disastrous. It decided to continue the armed peasant struggle in Telangana, which had been going on against the Nizam of Hyderabad since 1946. The result was the death of thousands of heroic party and peasant activists. In the unequal and unpopular fight against the Indian Army, Sakin declared a national railway strike on 9 March 1949 in the hope that it would lead to an all-India general strike. The party also indulged in several terrorist attacks. Near the end of 1951, when Ajoy Ghosh became the general secretary of the party, a new program and a new tactical line were accepted under the direct guideline of Stalin. The new element in CPI's policy was that the overthrow of the state was to be a part of future agenda. CPI participated enthusiastically in the first general elections along with its front organization, the People's Democratic Front in Hyderabad. It contested only 61 seats for the Lok Sabha and won 23 with 4.6% share of the votes and emerged as the largest opposition party. It won a majority in Kerala and formed it the first democratically elected communist government anywhere in the world. In 1962, it won 29 seats and 9.94% of the votes. The 1952 elections promised that the party would in time be considered as a political alternative to Congress. Over the years, the party made four changes in its official position. First, at its Madurai conference in 1953, it accepted that Government of India was following an independent foreign policy. At its Palghat conference held in 1956, the party accepted that India had won independence in 1947. At its Amritsar conference in 1958, the party declared that it was impossible to advance to socialism through peaceful and parliamentary means. At its Vijayawada conference in 1961, the party decided to follow a policy of struggle as well as unity towards Congress. The agreements at the party Congress conferences were, however, only on the surface. The differences were in fact sharpening with time with new issues. One wing of the party supported the government wholeheartedly against China. The other wing, while opposing the Chinese stand on the question of India-China frontiers, also opposed the unqualified support to the Nehru government because of its class character. CPI finally split in 1964 with one party representing the earlier right and centrist strands being known as CPI and the other party representing the earlier left trend being known as the Party Marxist. CPM believed it would necessary to start an agrarian revolution and an armed struggle under the leadership of the working class and its party. CPM continued to regard Stalin as a great Marxist. Both the communist parties later split further and have more or less stagnated and remained small and growing. They have failed to conduct politics among the people and become the leaders of a broad mass movement. Particular manifestations of the Communist failure to come to grips with the Indian political reality are related to three areas. First, despite toiling hard in the anti-imperialist cause, the party failed to appreciate correctly the character of the freedom struggle as a massive national revolution. CPI by and large failed
मैं
to come
कहता
to
हूँ एक
terms.
मिनट कार्तिकेय डोंट लाइक सीपीआई के फेल का तीन कारण हुआ। वो सबसे जो पहला कारण है वो एंटी इम्पीरियलिस्टिक कॉज। दूसरा है फुल एंड रियल इम्प्लीकेशंस दैट जो सीपीआई है वो कभी भी अपने सिविल लिबर्टीज को या डेमोक्रेटिक पॉलिटी को वो इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं कर पाई और वो हरदम बात करते थे इम्पीरियलिज्म की। और उन्होंने आपने जैसे देखा कि उन्होंने इंडिया के इंडिपेंडेंस को भी बाद में एक्सेप्ट किया। तो ये जो उनका कॉन्ट्राडिक्शंस था वो कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन उनको काफी हाई राइज नहीं जाने दिया। और आपको पता है कि केरल, त्रिपुरा और वेस्ट बंगाल इनमें गवर्नमेंट थी, लेकिन तीनों गवर्नमेंट का स्ट्रक्चर यहाँ पे अलग अलग था। और सीपीआई या सीपीएम के डिक्लाइन का मेजर कारण ये रहा इंडिया में कि जो उन लोगों का मास कनेक्शन, दो देवर द सपोज दैट दे आर द मास पार्टी, बट उनका मास कनेक्शन काफी कम हो गया, जो कि कांग्रेस और बाद में जनसंघ और बाद में भारतीय जनता पार्टी का हुआ। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड, सीपीआई के बाद।
Bharatiya Jansangh. This party was an Indian right-wing political party founded in October 1951 by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. The Jansangh could not openly profess its communal ideology as it had to function within two major constraints. The Jansangh drew its organized strength, centralized character, and ideological homogeneity from RSS. RSS was founded in 1925 and it did not participate in the anti-imperialist movement. The RSS grew in northern India in the 40s because of the communalization of politics during the war years. Keen on persuading the government to lift the ban on RSS, its leaders gave an undertaking in 1949 that it would not take part in politics. But in fact, they were quite keen to do so. Jansangh provided the perfect cover for this front organization. The basic guidelines of RSS communal approach towards Muslims were laid down by Govalkar. After Mukherjee's death in 1953, the fig leaf of being an independent party was gradually given up. In 1954, its second president, Mauli Chandra Sharma, resigned in protest against the RSS domination of the party. Jansangh over time adopted a radical program. All the party's popular slogans and everyday agitational issues were filtered through communal glasses. The party declared itself to be non-communal and secular and formally admitted Muslims as members. It also declared that its objective was to work not for Hindu Rashtra but Bharatiya Rashtra. Hindu Rashtra but Bharatiya Rashtra. Jansangh was strongly anti-Pakistan. According to one of its resolutions, Pakistan's aim is to sustain the faith of Indian Muslims with the ultimate objective of establishing Muslim domination over the rest of India as well. Also, Jansangh argued for the reuniting of India and Pakistan in pursuit of its central objective Akhand Bharat. Jansangh merged into Janata Party in 1977. This party also raised the slogan of One Country, One Culture and One Nation. It also accused Congress of importing foreign
आप
technology.
समझ लें कि
Significant changes in the
एक मिनट कार्तिक है, जनसंघ नाउ भारतीय जनता पार्टी, वन कंट्री वन कल्चर वन नेशन। सो जो वन का कॉन्सेप्ट है वो भारतीय जनसंघ से अभी तक आपको इन्फ्यूज हो रहा है। यस।
It also accused Congress of importing foreign technology. Significant changes in the official programs and policies of Jansangh BJP occurred over the years. Seats won by Jansangh on Lok Sabha in Lok Sabha elections in 1952, it won 3 seats. In 1957, it won 4 seats. In 1962, it won 14 seats. In 1967, it won 35 seats, and in 1971, it won 22 seats. Now, rise of regional parties. A large number of communal and regional parties existed between 1947 and 1964. Among the communal parties, Hindu Mahabha was an old party, but it soon faded from the political scene after 1852 when it won 4 seats in the Lok Sabha. Same was the case with Ram Rajya Parishad because of its association with the demand for Pakistan. There was another major communal party. A large number of regional parties appeared on the scene during the period. Now, what is a regional party? Regional party propagates the ideology of regionalism or thrives on invocation of regional pride. Example, Telugu Desam Party, Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam. However, another type of party can be incorporated in the regional party list. Parties which enjoy considerable support only in one state, they may emphasize regionalist outlook and may have an all-India perspective but have limited regional reach. Example, Revolutionary Socialist Party in West Bengal. Or when the interests of particular region are not properly safeguarded. Example, DMK, ADMK, National Conference, Jammu and Kashmir. Or due to ethnic, racial and religious orthodoxy. Or language issues. Example, DMK, ADMK or TPS. Internal conflicts of the big national parties. Some examples, DK and Anna Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam almost eliminated INC from electoral race in Tamil Nadu since 1962. Second, Telugu Desam Party proved a strong opponent from 1985 onwards. CPI Marxist with the left front of West Bengal accounted for reasonably since 1977. Shiromani Akali Dal emerged as a single largest party in 1972, 1977 and 1985. Jammu and
नेक्स्ट
Kashmir
स्लाइड।
National Conference formed by many of the leading power brokers in contemporary Indian politics hail from regional parties like Mamata Banerjee, Mayawati.
मुलायम
The
सिंह।
exponential increase in the number of the exponential increase in the number of parties contesting elections, particularly over the past 2 decades, and the shrinking margins of victory in parliamentary elections are direct results of the emergence of
कार्तिकेय, इट्स ओके,
new
आपकी
regional
आवाज
government centers.
डिस्टर्ब हो रही है कार्तिकेय। इट्स ओके, बहुत लंबा चौड़ा चला। और रीजनल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का आप लोग सबको पता है, जिन्होंने देख लेंगे। और आप ये पीपीटी शेयर कर दीजिएगा, मैं रिकॉर्डिंग भी मैंने डाल दी है और पीपीटी भी शेयर आप कर दीजिएगा। So if you're talking about the regional party, almost every state has one or two regional parties. इंडिया में भी हर एक स्टेट का एक या दो रीजनल पार्टी है। और अभी जो प्रोमिनेंट रीजनल पार्टी है जिसका नाम बता दिया अभी कार्तिकेय ने, अगर देखें कि तेलुगु देशम पार्टी और
Telugu Desam Party.
यस तेलुगु देशम पार्टी, और आज ऑब्वियस आपका है। और ये देखिए एवरेज मार्जिनल विक्ट्री परसेंटेज ये है इन लोकसभा इलेक्शन 1962 टू 1940। ये क्या है चार्ट? चलिए चार्ट आप बता दीजिए। अच्छा अच्छा दिख रहा है ये सब। गो हेड, सिर्फ एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए।
यस सर, ये मार्जिन, ये जो विक्ट्री का औसत वो है मार्जिन लोकसभा इलेक्शंस में 1962 2014 में, इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा 1977 जो ईयर है 26.1% ऑफ मार्जिन एवरेज पॉइंट्स मिले थे।
और आपको पता है ये
और
कौन सा ईयर है? हाँ,
1977।
हाँ, इमरजेंसी।
यस सर। और ये
गो है।
1996 से 2014 के बीच में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सीट, लोकसभा इलेक्शन में डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सीट्स, तो इसमें कांग्रेस की सबसे हाईएस्ट थी 2009 में, और सबसे कम कांग्रेस की थी 1999 में। बीजेपी की सबसे हाईएस्ट 2014 में 282 सीट्स, और सबसे कम 2009 में 116, और अदर्स की 260 सीट्स 2004 ईयर में। डू रीजनल पार्टीज अंडरमाइन नेशनल पार्टीज? ये वोट शेयर है और सीट शेयर रीजनल पार्टी का लोकसभा इलेक्शंस में। सबसे हाईएस्ट जो सीट शेयर था 1989 में था रीजनल पार्टीज का, 40% से ऊपर, और 2004 में 2004 और 9 के बीच में सीट शेयर कम होता गया और वोट शेयर बढ़ता गया। After a period of
वेरी गुड।
unprecedented growth in the standing of regional parties during the late 1980s and early 1990s, the pattern of electoral competition at the national level has achieved a surprisingly stable balance of power. Rise of regional players directly threatens the status of national players, overlooks the possibility that regional parties can also hurt one another. In India's winner-take-all electoral system, where victories are possible with a small minority of votes in any given constituency, increasing levels of political competition have led to a greater fragmentation of the vote. ये जो इमेज है इसमें वेरिएशन ऑफ वोट शेयर है और सीट शेयर 1991 टू 2014 के बीच में, इसमें रीजनल पार्टीज का 1991 में वोट शेयर ज़्यादा था बीजेपी और आईएनसी से, और बीजेपी का 2014 में हाईएस्ट था और आईएनसी का सबसे लास्ट में चला गया। और ये शेयर ऑफ
गुड।
चीफ मिनिस्टर फॉर रीजनल पार्टीज का 2011 और 2013 में सबसे कम था और 1997 में सबसे ज़्यादा, और नेशनल पार्टीज का सबसे हाई था 2005 में और सबसे लोएस्ट था 1997 में। और ये 2014 के इंडियन इलेक्शन में एक सिंगल रीजनल पार्टी ने स्टेट डोमिनेट किए थे, जैसे तमिलनाडु में ऑल इंडिया अन्ना द्रविड़ मुनेत्र कज़गम ने, और सिक्किम में सिक्किम डेमोक्रेटिक फ्रंट, नागालैंड में नागा पीपल्स फ्रंट ने, वेस्ट बंगाल में ऑल इंडिया तृणमूल कांग्रेस, और उड़ीसा में बीजू जनता दल ने। Conclusion: The national and regional parties are dominated by different political parties in our country which fight against each other to obtain the different political positions. These political parties participate in the public elections where they are elected by the public votes, and after winning they stay in power for 5 years. In this way, the political parties are involved in our political system. Sir, and
वेरी गुड। काफी एक्सटेंसिव और काफी बड़ा था, और इसमें कल मैं और कुछ ऐड करूंगा, और ये आप लोगों को कल क्लास वही 3:30 अपनी क्लास होगी। और वेरी गुड, वेल एफर्ट कार्तिकेय। इसको थोड़ा सा अगर और समराइज कर लेते, और आपने 72 स्लाइड्स बनाई, रियली कमेंडेबल। और आपने स्लाइड्स नहीं बनाई, इसको पढ़ा भी। अब एक बस 2-3 मिनट और इसमें हम नोट्स जब बनाएंगे तो बाकी चीजों के बारे में भी थोड़ा लिखेंगे, क्योंकि कांग्रेस का सिर्फ कांग्रेस नहीं लिखेंगे, और कांग्रेस नहीं आएगा, इंडिया पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज आएगा। अगर क्वेश्चन भी आएगा तो आप लोग समझ सकते हैं क्यों। और इसमें हम ये कुछ डिबेट्स भी होंगे पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज पे। वो डिबेट्स के बारे में, मतलब डिबेट तो सबको पता ही, वो डिबेट क्या होते हैं कि जो अगर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में कि ये इलेक्शन के बाद जस्ट लाइक ए मैनिफेस्टो, और लेकिन ये भी होता है कि क्या दिस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी सिस्टम इन इंडिया इज राइट और रॉन्ग। ये भी एक डिबेट चलता है कि जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी इंडिया में है, क्योंकि ऑलमोस्ट सेंटर पे देखिए तो ये पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज दो ही पॉलिटिकल पार्टी बच जाते हैं, कांग्रेस और बीजेपी। क्यों ऐसा होता है? तो इस पे कुछ है, कुछ सोचिएगा आप लोग। और रियली इट्स अ फैंटास्टिक एफर्ट। जितना भी था काफी अच्छा, 72 स्लाइड्स बनाना और उसको मैनेज करना, इट इज ए कमेंडेबल। और आपको ये टॉपिक समझ आ गया होगा, जिसको नहीं आया होगा मैं हूँ पूछने के लिए। और साथ साथ आपका मैटर भी है, जो मैटर मैंने भेजा है वो भी है, तो आप लोग एक बार इसको देखिए। और ये टॉपिक यहाँ से शुरुआत क्यों हुआ, क्योंकि बिफोर वी आर नॉट फिक्सिंग अप दैट प्रॉब्लम, वी आर not able to understand India, because through political parties we do understand India very well. तो कार्तिकेय बहुत अच्छा रहा, well and good, और it's a really great effort, 72 slides, so thank you very much कार्तिक। और बाकी लोग मैं जानता हूँ, कुछ लोग सुने होंगे, कुछ लोग नहीं सुने होंगे, तो ये अच्छी बात नहीं है, थोड़ा सा केयरफुली सुनिए। और इसको मैं फिर YouTube चैनल पे आपको पेस्ट कर दूंगा। कल किसी ने देखा था, मैंने पेस्ट किया है, और मैं बार बार नहीं बोलूँ